What's poppin', y'all? I think this title is very fitting because I have never, ever in life seen a streamer get more hate translated to real life when we're talking about the ratio of audience, viewership to level of hate. This proportion, this ratio is the highest ever on LTG. Like, the level of hate that he gets is indescribable, frankly. And he decided to call out Cenat sub. Well, I think someone mentioned the million sub mark that Cenat was able to hit during the Mafiathon 3, that is. And he had his own take on it that I think is interesting and we should dive into a little bit.
Once it starts feeling manufactured and lose its authenticity, how can you take it serious? When you have the entire help of the industry, sponsors, big giant production, celebs, of course you're gonna hit it. It's manufactured so you can do it. On top of that, specifically on his stream, it was 25% off of subs you actually could get for less. And that was the only person's chat that had it. When you have a machine behind you, anything's possible, bro. Just when it started getting close, it was like 7 something, and then all of a sudden just inflate. It's just not real. So it's like, it's fake. R2D2, this manufactured. It's not even me hating, it's just, it is disingenuous. It's not a real sub goal. A real record wasn't hit. It was already pre-planned. I'm pretty sure they already had it on a blueprint board. Like, okay, you're going to drop this here. This person's going to drop that there on this day. We're going to make sure that it's real close. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's real close. So we want to make it seem realistic. We don't want you to hit it too quick. Then on that day, we're going to have eBay drop that. Snoop's going to drop a $250,000, but that's going to be backed by such and such. Then such and such is going to drop. Bro, it's manufactured. Yeah, exactly. If you're a regular person, why give? Let's just say if you're a regular person to drop 50, you're a peon, you're a bot, you're a type 0 civilization. Like, human beings are just such an idiot species. Social media 100% is not real either. Clout can be bought, numbers can be bought, everything can be inflated. I know it seems like I'd be like salty about it, or I'm quote unquote hating. Nah, I just know everything's fake. I know the internet's fake. This is the last place on Twitch that is authentic. Everybody else is, they're backed by somebody, they're in an org, there's a machine behind them, something.
So, of course, at the end there, you can kind of dismiss that part because he's referring to himself where he's just saying, like, this is the realest place. Now, he is correct in that he doesn't have an org, he doesn't have a machine, he is quite hated, he's banned on YouTube. Part of that was because I think the circumvention rule. He was previously banned on Twitch. This guy, when it comes to one thing that I do have a lot of respect for, even with people that I may disagree with entirely, is the ability to persist. Like, people that have been banned, like, for example, like Sneeko, getting banned on damn near every platform and just persisting and then coming back and getting unbanned and still being in the public consciousness, especially if that's your goal, to be in the public consciousness. That is so impressive. That takes so much resilience. And LTG is an example of somebody that's also done that, where this guy was streaming on, I don't even remember the site. It was some green site, and it was not Kick. This was before Kick even came out. So he was banned on Twitch, he was banned on YouTube, and he was streaming on there. So it just goes to show this guy's quite resilient. So I do have to give him credit for that. However, when he talks about the part where, like, hey, this was just corporate and this was set up, we can't disagree. Like, there are people that tried to disagree and say that he was hating. Like, there was a reply on the tweet that said, machine or not, his content is better than everybody else's. So if he does have a machine behind him, he's earned it through hard work and sheer creativity. Has he, though? Does he have the best content? I feel like that's a subjective term, especially when you take it to the level of where Cenat is. Like, Cenat, Speed, Aiden Ross. Like, Aiden Ross is putting on fighting events, right? Aiden Ross has put on a bunch of different events. Speed is going to multiple different countries, just spawning in there like a character from some RPG game or open world game, and he's just interacting with people. And I think he would absolutely love if he could just interact with people without having massive crowds around him. That's a different type of content. And then the tour that he did, and then you've got Cenat doing content with celebrities, which Speed is also doing. You've got a bunch of different types of content, and I wouldn't say one is better than the other, especially to have the sub count that he has, which is 10 times most other people, include like those peers that I'm talking about included. Granted, Aiden Ross does not stream on Twitch very often, but the point is not that Cenat didn't earn his position, didn't earn his viewership, didn't earn corporate sponsors. The point is that the million subs is inflated. Like, for example, when Jay-Z sold 1 million, was it 1 million that he sold with The album had F With Me, You Know I Got It. It was Magna Carta Holy Grail. And this album was certified platinum the day of its release. And keep in mind, it was certified platinum the day of its release, not like Cardi B. Cardi B was certified platinum the day of her release because she had WAP on the project. And WAP is like a multi-platinum song from 2020. So it was able to accumulate all of those streams between 2020 and 2025 when she dropped her album, Am I the Drama? So she could just certify it platinum. A similar thing was done by French Montana when he put Unforgettable on an album, and he said the album went gold in 2 days. That's because it had Unforgettable on it. So that's not even the case with Jay-Z. That's why what Jay-Z did is even more egregious. And platinum is 1 million records sold within the United States. The reason why it went 1 million sold in the United States is because, and on day one, is because Jay-Z had a deal with Samsung prior to the album's release where they agreed to purchase 1 million copies of the album to offer users of Samsung for free. So it sold 528,000 copies first week, and this was his 13th number one. So he continuously kept going number one, and this was just, hey, it's quite whack, to be honest. It had a 76% drop in sales, by the way, because it dropped the second week to 129,000. So you go from selling like 500 something thousand to 129,000. Now you're probably saying like, wait, why didn't it sell 1 million? Well, because it was provided to Samsung customers. And I think it's because Samsung also had some sort of a deal with Tidal. So this is exactly what Kai Cenat did. And that's what LTG is accusing him of. And he's correct. Because if we look at Kai Cenat's VODs, right, on day 25, which is out of 30 days, because there are only 30 days in September, on day 25, Kai Cenat had under 750,000 subscribers on Twitch. Now, a subscriber, you have to pay money or you can use Twitch Prime. People are able to gift subs, which means like if I pay $25, he gets 5 subs and 5 random people in the chat get a subscriber badge and the subscriber perks that come with that. So at that pace, if he wanted to hit 1 mil, he would have needed 500 by day 15 and he would have needed 750 by day 20. So he was late. Because if you think about it, right, like 250 every 7 or so days. So at 21 days, he would have had to be at 750 or so. He was at day 25 and he wasn't even at 750K yet. And then even when you go to day 27, he suddenly hit 1 million. So in 2 days, he gains over 250,000 subs when he was stalling at around 700,000 for days. Come on, man. And that's when Snoop Dogg came in and dropped 50,000 subs, which is about $250,000, which shout out to Snoop Dogg for that. And then you've got, of course, like Valorant matching subs that month in particular. I think that was quite lucky for Kai. And that's something that I'm interested in knowing if he planned that ahead of time. Because Valorant was the number one gifted sub in his chat. And the reason for that is because for every time someone gifted 5 subs across all of Twitch users in the month of September, Valorant, the game by Riot, they would gift 1 sub. So every time someone gifted 5, they would gift 1. Someone gifted 10, they would gift 2. So they ended up being the biggest gifter for Kai Cenat, even bigger than Snoop Dogg. So had he not had Valorant that month, he wouldn't have hit it. But this is the thing. I think he would have hit it. I think Kai Cenat had contingencies in place. I don't think there was a way for him to not hit 1 million subs. And I think that's partially because, and this is me theorizing here. This is completely conspiracy theory. This is not me saying I have any evidence. Because usually I have evidence of things or I have heard them from reliable sources. And I'll hit you with the just trust me, bro. I'm not hitting you with the just trust me, bro here. I'm just being honest. This is a theory. My theory is that there were obviously corporate sponsors. You saw Nike sponsored the workout segment. It's all Nike in a house, all Nike workout equipment. You saw that Crocs, he was handing out Crocs to people. You saw that the PC company, he was giving out a PC every day. All of these are sponsors. So what I think Kai Cenat did is he's like, hey, look, this is how much I'm going to get paid for this sponsor. I want to be, if I'm not close enough to my goal, I want to be able to press a button and you just donate that amount to me as gifted subscriptions so I can hit my goal. And that's what I believe happened, because you had like Crocs, Bose, eBay, etc. come in on the latter half in the last couple of days to gift massive amounts. So there was like 5,000, 10,000, etc. Because to get 1 million, and this is with gifted subs, back in the day, because people are trying to compare it to Ninja, back in Ninja's day, there was no gifted sub. So you had to have unique subscribers, which means that every single person had to sub on their own. Someone could not give somebody else a sub. I don't know when that feature was introduced. I think it may have been around 2019 or so, or 2018. I just don't remember, because I remember I was paying attention to what Ninja was doing at the time, and I don't remember there being gifted subscriptions when he was running it up like that. Now Prime, I think Prime was recently released, Amazon Prime and Twitch, which allowed you to subscribe for free. Or actually 2016 I think is when Prime, oh, we're not going to go year by year. That's not the point. So we're going to circle back to the Kai Cenat point. LTG is correct here. And a separate reply said, I feel what he's saying, but you also have to get to a certain place organically for the machine to have an upside to backing you. Kind of a lame argument, in my opinion. Now, there is a point here. However, some people may say that Kai Cenat got a huge look from being on AMP that already had a ton of motion, whether that was Phantom, and Duke was already on there, who's a huge YouTuber, and Agent. And these guys were already streaming, doing their thing. But we have to be completely fair here. Kai Cenat was a huge YouTuber by the time he got on AMP. He was not a big streamer whatsoever. And the idea that, oh yeah, like being a huge YouTuber translates to streaming, not really. No, it does not. Because Kai Cenat started off with maybe like 1,000 viewers. He was averaging 1,000 to 2,000, perhaps even less, for quite a while. And he was hitting up Aiden Ross, who was him at that time, getting 100,000 plus regularly. And I'll give you another example is Canel Joseph. He has several million subscribers on YouTube on one channel and maybe 500,000 or more on another channel, and he's been streaming for years. Now, not as consistently throughout the years, but I've known him to be streaming for at least 3+ years, and he averages less than 1,000 viewers. So anywhere from 500 to 800. So if you're saying, oh, this person had a lot of subs, that's why they were easily able to translate it to streaming, it does not work like that anymore. Maybe it worked like that 10 years ago or even, hell, 8 years ago, but when Kai Cenat got into this, it was not working like that. The times had changed. Then you have another reply saying something like right message, wrong messenger. I personally just think the message is the most important thing. So I'm not too interested in the messenger, because LTG is right in the sense that he doesn't have a machine. Now, has he behaved in a way for a machine to want to pick him up? That's a different story. I mean, even Aiden Ross, who's done a lot less things that can be perceived as offensive than LTG, is not getting corporate sponsors like that. Neon has been washing himself a little bit, and he's been able to do a good job with his collaborations. I would say Neon has some of the best collaborations in the streaming game right now. And by best, I don't mean the most famous. I think they just gel well with him, especially how he's changed his personality, or matured. I guess that's a better way to say it, in the past year or so. But we're not going to dive into this tangent. That may serve for another video, which will probably never come out. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.